ahead and use them. What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
Did you see anything? No, sir. I didn't see you playing with your dolls again. Good!
Well, I'll tell you, nobody handles garbage better than we do.
You don't remember?
For you, the day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday. What are you smiling about?
Dude, I almost had you.
Left cheek! Left cheek! Left cheek!
Hey guys, welcome to my next review. This is the Takara Tomy Transformers Masterpiece MP-59 Cybertron Defense, or as known here in America, Rhinox. So first off, like most North American or Hasbro distributed Masterpiece stuff from Takara, it comes in this basic box. So first off, let's kind of go over the box. I mean, it just pretty much says Transformers MP-59 on every side. There is a little bit of a barcode over here. Let's get the table out of the way and then get the real package out of this slipcover. And to show off what this box truly is. So here it is. So you can see that real good image of Rhinox. Top of it, Transformers Masterpiece, MP-59, Rhinox Beast Wars. The side is an image of Rhinox in robot mode. The opposite side in beast mode. The bottom has the legal stuff, barcode, and then on the reverse of the package we have different images of Rhinox, and then the accessories that comes with it, and then kind of a breakdown of each little thing. All right, so let's get to looking at Rhinox. All right, so here is Rhinox in beast mode. Kind of get a good look at him. Nice gold on the horns. And he is a panely boy, that's for sure. So let's kind of go over some articulation. Not a whole lot on this guy. He's kind of a tank, but his ears are on a ball joint. You can moving them up or down. Kind of a little loose, but they hold position. The jaw, can't articulate. You can go that far back. And then I think you can kind of pull the head out. It's on like a slider, and you can kind of tilt it and see like right there. But that just pretty much stays in like that. And then the only really articulation you have on the feet is they can move a little bit. Maybe get like a little looking charge photo. And then next, let's go over the accessories. So like all your Masterpiece stuff, it does come with a collector card, and then tech specs on the back and a little bio. And then here's the instructions. Pretty thick book of instructions. Let's see, there's more accessories, but we'll just only go over one. So this is an adapter, and is what you can do is it plugs into his back right here. You just remove that panel. I thought it was just supposed to flip up, but and then you can plug this back here, and then I don't have Primal with me, but you can set Primal on his back and Primal can ride him. So yeah, that's all for accessories. So let's get the transformation. All right, so first thing we want to do, we want to start off with his head. So pull that forward, and then you want to take this panel, these panels, like his cheek panels, untab those like that, then bring that panel up. Next, you want to untab these panels, and that will kind of release all of his head. As soon as I untab one, the other one tabs back in, and then that goes back like that to kind of get it out of the way. So next, you want to push those levers up, and as you can kind of see, is what it does is it moves his pupils, so you can only see the white portion of his eyes. So once you do that, you can take this panel in the mouth and go forward all the way like that. So this is what she should be looking like right now. All right, so next up, we need to undo this panel on his shoulder, kind of get that up out of the way. Undo this panel, it's on a double hinge, flatten that like so, and then rotate. It doesn't tab, it just kind of rotates. Do the same thing on the other side, untab that panel. Undo this panel, it's on a double hinge, rotate it up, rotate this panel around, and you kind of, that's what you're looking at. So next up, we're going to bring the head down, and there's a tab right here, and it's going to go in this slot like that, and pretty much just made his backpack. And then you want to rotate his ears 180 so they kind of fold down. So yeah, essentially his backpack. All right, so next we want to untab this panel from there, kind of pull it out of the way. Same thing with the other side, pull it out of the way. This already came untabbed, untab that. Then you can kind of lift all this up. You can pull his Gatling gun that stores in his chest. And there's a little bit of transformation to that, and it just pops together like that. So we'll set that aside, and we'll go over that when we finally get into bot mode. So it's what you want to do is kind of pull that over. These are his hands. And then flip that up. This panel goes up. And this is on a double hinge. It goes up, folds flat like that. Same thing with the opposite side. And then you can flip that panel around, and if you can kind of see, there's two tabs, and this will tab in. that. There. So we're kind of looking like that right now. All right, so next we want to get kind of orient his arms. So just flip out like that, and then rotate. And then we're going to bring them, let's see, kind of gonna get these panels out of the way. Bring these in before you rotate, like that. Now you can kind of rotate them up, get the arms up, and then you can bring that down a little bit, and then you want to put your arms all the way up. You kind of want these fatter shoulder pieces towards his face. And now this is what you should be looking at. All right, so we are going to try to get his chest panel down. So one of the first things you want to do is get that panel down like that. And then this panel is going to go in, but one thing you have to be careful is those panels have to be a certain way in order to make sure that's down. As well, you have a tab here and a tab here, and then the slot right there. So in order for those to slot properly, you need to make sure these little panels aren't getting in the way. So there, tabbed in, and then next, maybe. It just takes a little bit of like work to kind of get all this to kind of tab in. And then these are kind of like side panels. And then you have a tab behind his head and a slot that tabs in. I think we got it. Yeah, I don't think there's any other tabs. All right. All right, so let's move to the rear of them. So first thing you want to do is lift up these panels right here on the side. And then that should clear getting his rear end opened up. Next, you want to separate that panel right there. And then you can it'll free up moving his legs down. Okay, so before we start on the legs, there's a panel right here in his torso that I probably need a splitter for. You have to flip that panel, and what it is, it opens up a slot so his chest, that jaw piece, can tab in, and then it secures all that. So next we're going to do the legs. So you want to split open the legs like that. That panel is going to come up, lower panel is going to go down, the foot's going to go inside. Next we're going to, so this is his foot. First thing we want to do is flip out the heel, flip out the toe. I think that tabs. No. Flip the foot down. Then we're going to rotate the foot on its hinge like that. And this hinge is going to go in like so. Oh, and then that piece needs to rotate and then collapse in. And then we can collapse the foot and then close that panel. And as what we want to do is rotate just above the knee joint. So all that deco kind of lines up. So we want to do the same thing on the other leg. So just split it open right here. This panel goes out, lower panel goes in, Rhino hoof goes in, this panel rotates down, that panel goes in. We need to flip out the heel, flip out the toe, and then rotate the foot down, rotate it on itself. Rotate it in. Like that. Bring the leg back together. And then rotate the lower part of the leg again. And now we should have his legs done. Alright, so we're in the home stretch here. So next is what you want to do. You want to clean up his butt. So flip that panel in, and then this just goes up like that. And then there's two tabs right here, and then slots on these hinges. And it just fits in there, and then the tail kind of goes in that groove. And that's pretty much his butt. So last up are the arms. So we want to bring it down, and then the hand was tabbed up here, but so it's untabbed. Before we spin it around, we need to spin the thumb around. Tabs in, collapse the heel, and then the hand rotates, and then it tabs into like the heel of his rhino foot, like that. And then we need to extend, so that kind of that gives the elbow, and then you can bring it down. So let's do the other arm like that. So you bring that down. Undo that. Bring the thumb around. Collapse the heel of the paw. Rotate the arm or the hand, the green part of it. Extend. And then just rotate it so it's positioned properly. And then bring the arm down. And that is Rhinox in robot mode. Actually, before we go over articulation, let's take a closer look at the figure. So here is, just get a close-up look at that noggin, that head. And then the detail work on the chest is just really good. And there's some like teeth on his leg. Does have a bit of a backpack. And now it's going to go over articulation. So head is on a ball, but there is a hinge. So you get the full rotation. You can kind of do the side confused look. Also, his jaw articulates, so you can open his mouth. Shoulders can go up here, but you could probably cheat as one of the transformation joints to get it up to there, and then he can do a full 360. There is a single jointed elbow, gives you almost 90 degrees. It's on a ratchet. There is a swivel right below the elbow. And if you untab the hand, you can kind of get a wrist rotation. But other than that, your main wrist rotation could be the elbow. The thumb can hinge, has one hinge. It can go forward and back, and you can untab it if you want and get a rotation as well. The fingers, the pointer finger is on a base hinge, and then it has a secondary hinge. Then the last two fingers are together at the base hinge and then the secondary hinge. There is a waist rotation. These skirts kind of get in the way. And then you can flip the skirt out of the way and get the leg all the way up to there. You can go back that far, lift that skirt up, and you can almost get the full splits. There is a little bit of a thigh rotation. The detailing kind of gets in the way. If you're just kind of pull it out, you can get a little bit more thigh rotation. Single jointed knee for 90 degrees, and then there is an ankle tilt. Toe can tilt down, and the heel can tilt down as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for articulation. So let's take a look at his accessories. All right, so next up, he does have his, so only one of these in store, so his Gatling gun, and they spin, and these are like your typical Masterpiece tab on the palm. Kind of get the thumb out of the way a little bit. And they are keyed to where you can only put like one in one hand. So, yeah. Let's see, next up he comes with, I don't know if it has a proper name, but it's the device that he used to get Primal out of the box. You just kind of move his thumb out of the way and it can tab on his arm. But really clean looking paint on this. Really good looking. You know what? I kind of forgot. Let's get a close-up look at these Gatling guns. Nice Maximal symbol on there. He also came with a spark, and it can untab, and there's a tab on it, and he can put the spark in his hand, maybe. I think it only tabs in a specific way because clearance, but yeah, he can hold that. And then the spark actually comes apart, and then it has the core to it, and it's kind of like a nice metallic purple. And then one last accessory, he comes, or play feature, he comes with a secondary face sculpt. And all you have to do is kind of split that and pull that off, and some freaking body horror right there. And then the other one just tabs on. It's more of like a, there's not a whole bit difference, but you can see his upper lips up some more, so he kind of looks more yelling mode. Yeah, so that is it for the accessories. All right, so let's move on to my final thoughts. First off, let's go with some of the negative stuff. Just somehow his panels come undone, and like like where this jaw is, it comes undone when you're manipulating him. And then just like when you're transforming him back into Rhino mode, just some of the, I don't want to say, it's kind of finicky. You got to get things just in the right spot in order to tab in properly. And if you don't, it feels kind of frustrating. But I mean, once you get things lined up where they're supposed to be, then things tab in the way they're supposed to. But I like the other thing that kind of comes untabbed is his hands when manipulating his arms and hands. I don't really like that. Same thing, like trying to get a good like pose where he's got both of his guns out, like how his elbow spins. It doesn't like spin all the way, and I'm trying to get a good stance like that. So the articulation is just kind of weird as well. And then he's kind of top heavy, like if you're trying to stand him, and like his ankles are a little bit loose, which kind of sucks at the same time. But positives, he looks great. Like he is the like Takara always knocks out the look of these Beast Wars masterpiece figures. Which I am happy to have add him to the Maximals. And if you saw the previous week, we did Rat Trap, and that just came in. So it's great to have all of the landing party Maximals. Now we just need Air Razor, and we will have all of Season 1 Maximals. So, but I mean, that's the thing. It looks the part. The transformation's not too bad. Once you do it, I don't hate it. I don't love it at the same time. You know, it's just a flip flop. It's a lot of panels that you're just flipping and flopping around, but glad to have him in my collection. So would recommend if you're a Beast Wars fan and a masterpiece collector, it's worth adding to your collection. But that's all I got for this one. If you would, check out all my socials, Talib1980_collects on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Posting news daily, and then all of that news from the week gets turned into a live stream on Tuesday mornings at 1 a.m. Eastern for news and review. And then Saturday nights we're live streaming as well. Typically we're talking about movies, but we go off the rails a lot of times. So just check that stuff out on my channel. And yeah, so that's all I got for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.